We're going to do an unboxing and an install on this CARRO, CARRO. It's a smart ceiling fan. You can see it works with Google, Alexis, Siri, and then the CARRO Home app as well. It's 48 inches. It is white, smart ceiling fan. It has a dimmable LED light on it, and so we're looking forward to it. It works with a light switch or remote control that comes with it, or you can control it with your voice with Google or Alexis. All right, let's unbox it. Let's install it. All right, so we unboxed it, and we're just going to look at these pieces real quick before we actually do the install. It does come with a nice instruction manual. Sort of thumb through it a little bit. It's looks very straightforward to put in. The warranty on this, the motor has a 3-year warranty. The light kit, which we'll show you in a second, has a 5-year warranty. And everything else on the fan has a 3-year warranty. And then they call it a lifetime technical support and also lifetime limited warranty, which now I guess if it has a major defect of some kind, they'll warrant it. So some unique things here about it. These are the blades. I love their shape. Beautiful. There's only 3 blades. Now, this is what the blade is attached to. It's a little bit more gold than I want it. So we'll install it and see, what it looks like once it's actually up there and installed. This is your remote control. It comes with a little casing if you want to put that on the wall, and of course your fan speeds and whether you're trying to do a warm or cold on the light, how bright you want it, on and off. So we'll have to learn that. It is Google Voice as well as Alexis Voice. Light kit was kind of neat. It's actually magnetized, comes right out. That's the light. And you would have to put that in there and just align the hole. They fit. And then you can see where the wire hooks up to. The 2 fittings and the 1 screw, these are slip-ons, and then a solid screw-on. When we put it up in there, we'll look at that when we actually do the install. And then the wire will come through this hole and snap right into that, and that is what your LED light, and then this is the cover for the LED light. So that's kind of what it's going to look like, upside down, of course. All right. This is the part that is remote control that controls the fan through the remote control, and I'm sure by voice as well. The electronics are in there. Your mount, right? So this is going to go right up on your the box up in the ceiling, and then the fan will hang right here while you put everything together. And then when you're done, this cover snaps on that. It's really nice. So it'll actually have a really nice finish right here once you put this cover on the fan. This is the actual motor. See it spin in there. Blades will attach. This is the wire that goes through, hooks up to your LED light. So this all goes in like this. This goes up into the ceiling, and this is going to hook on like this right here and hang from that ball that I showed you earlier. Really nice. They have a cable so that you can temporarily just kind of hang this thing while you work on it. But everything is really straightforward. It's just a snap-in for the electric, separating the fan and the light, of course. And this is all of your hardware that comes with it. The screws for the blades, the screws and wire nuts for the wiring and the hooking up of the motor and all that good stuff there. And this is something you hope you don't have to use. It is a weight. So if your fan is just off balance a little bit, you can use this on one of the blades to make them balance. But let's hope when we put it up there, everything is balanced. All right, so we're going to go look at the room where we're going to put it, the fan we're replacing, and then we'll go through the install process. So this is the fan that we're going to be replacing, and you'll see it'll start rocking a little bit. That fan's probably 25 years old, and the room is not that big of a room. I think it's 12 by 15 maybe, and so the 48-inch will do just fine. So we're going to take this fan down. We'll let you see what the ceiling looks like up there, the box, and how we're going to hook it up, and then we'll do an install. So the first step that they want you to do is attach the fan blade to the bracket. So you're going to turn your bracket so that you see the three little notches where the hose and the screws go. When you look at your fan, it'll say this side up. And so that's the side of the blade. Obviously, it's going to face towards you. And then the rough side of this bracket, not the smooth side, but the rough side is going to face towards you as well. And that blade fits right on top of those three holes right here, 1, 2, 3. And it's curved. You see this little groove right here on the blade. It fits on that notch on this blade holder. And so you're going to put that blade on there, gives it a slight tilt, and we're going to do all three blades here real quick. All right, so we have all three of the blades on. I do want to mention that the metal is soft, so if you're going to use an electric screwdriver, you want to be careful that you don't cross thread. It's probably best just to use a manual, just a regular Phillips head like this, and take your time and put those screws in by hand. So the next thing they want us to do is attach the blade to the motor hub. And this indented curve port here is going to go over the edge of the motor. And you'll line it up until you see those two screws match perfectly on there. And then you put the bolts on. We're going to do all three blades, and you're using the little silver bolts for this. There's 6 of them. Okay, so you can see we have the blades on this motor hub. Now, I want you to notice that there is a small gap between each of where the blades come. And what I did when I put them on, I noticed that one of the gaps was a little bigger than the others. So I loosened all the blades just a little bit and then adjusted it so that the gaps were the same. And then I snugged down on these screws so that when it's up in the air, everything, you know, is symmetric. The next step is to take the line and it's stuck in there like that. So just pull it right off, just like that. Just pull it off, put it off to the side. And now you have your light kit base with 2 slotted holes and 1 normal. So you're going to remove one of the screws off of the fan hub that we've been working on here. So I've removed that screw right there. I loosened these 2. So we're going to take this plate, bring that wire through the hole, slip this over these screws like so. We're going to tighten those screws down and then put that one other screw back in its place. Then we're going to take the light, you see the hole, and we are going to put it back into this kit. And make sure the wire right here, this wire goes through the center of the hole. And then we're going to center this hole with this hole here on the plate. Remember, this is magnet. So once you get it on, you can move it around. There it is. Centered in there. Got that there. And this little wire you're going to see is going to clip on. So I can get this up here for you. This little wire right here is going to go into this fitting right there. So it's going to come around like this and clip in. But we're not going to do that just yet. Okay, so we clipped that wire. You can see it. It took a little bit of finagling to do, but we got the clip in there, and then we pushed the black wire down because we don't want it to overlap on any of these little LED lights that'll cast a shadow. And you want to make sure that you recenter your hole on that magnet, because you want that light to be centered when you put that cover back on. All right, the next thing we're doing is we're taking the hang rod for the fan. And if you want to install a safety wire, which they provide this with the kit, you want to make sure that you run this safety wire through the neck. One in out here, one in out there, and you make your way through it. And what they have us doing here is running the neck through the ball like so, this guy, and then you'll see the port that has the flat ring on it and then non-existence here. So you want the smaller end to push the cable through, and that's what goes up on that neck like this towards this base. Now all of that can go through, but it won't later. So that's how that's going to sit, right? You have the flat port, the thick port going up towards the base, the neck coming through like that, and the wire going through that. All right, so we're just temporarily setting this up. And on the inside here, you'll see these, let me take this out. You'll see these little hooks right here. So once the fan's installed, that pushes up on it and it twists. And it catches the screws that are up there and it holds this nice and snug up against the ceiling. Now in this next step, they're having us flip the fan over to install this stuff properly. So I went ahead and put my light cover back on. It just twists on. It's got little grooves on the side. And make sure your light's centered. We looked at earlier. There you go. And you'll feel it slip in and this twist. And just get that on there nice and snug. You don't want that coming off. And you're going to flip your fan over like so. And we're going to attach this neck assembly to the fan. All right, so this next step has several things to it. You're going to take the rod, the down rod, that the weight of the fan's going to hang on, and you'll see it's slotted and it will fit in this shaft. Now make sure that your cable, your safety cable, runs out the side of the shaft where the screw is, because it could come out either side, but you want the cable to come out the side of the shaft where that little screw is down there on the base, because you're going to unscrew that screw, put it through the safety cable, and then screw it back on. You want to make sure that when you shove the shaft down, your hose line up. You'll see the 4 hoses that are there. Now this is adjustable. You know, if it's not just right, you just pull up on it a little bit or push down a little bit. It's adjustable. Now you can see, after we put our screws in here, you can see why they put this on, so that the fat part was facing the way it is. So it gives it a nice finished look, and so that nothing can drop down this shaft inside this motor. So they close that off, so you don't have to worry about anything dropping down. So sticking out of your shaft will be your safety cable and the cable that you're going to be connecting to the smart box here in just a moment. So shove that shaft down in here. It's slotted. It can only go in that one way. You'll see the slot right here, and it'll fit right over that shaft. And then make sure that your cable is coming out on the side where the screw is, and screw that in. And now we're going to put the 4 bolts in this shaft to hold it tight. Rub that down, and we'll be finished with that part. All right, so we have the 4 screws on the shaft. You can see right here. We have the safety rod connected right there. And then we are going to put that little shaft just goes right on top of that. So it seals all that and hides the hardware. I do want to mention that these screws are a little difficult to get in. So you have to use pressure as you're screwing into the shaft. And the screws are soft metal, so make sure that you're going in straight. You don't cross thread those screws. Outside of that, it attaches together pretty easily. And all right, so you run your electric out the top, and we have the safety cable, which of course we're going to shove down inside the shaft, and that's what they tell you to do. And that's kind of hard to do, by the way. So I got a flathead screwdriver, and I kind of went in a circle with this cable, like so. You make your own little spring by going in a circle around the shaft, and then you just take this flathead and shove that in there. Go around that wire and just make a spring formation inside the shaft. And this is how you are hiding this cable down in that shaft. This is what I found to be the easiest way to do it. I'm going to leave mine about the same length as the electric wire here, and then I'll just shove any extra cable up on the inside. Okay, so we're going to go to the next step. All right, so next we're going to install the bracket. The fan's going to hang on. You can see this side has an opening right here, and that's where, once we hook this up to the ceiling, the ball of that shaft that's now connected to the fan, it's going to slip up on here and hang and give you ample time to, or you don't have to hold the weight of the fan, and then you can hook up, you know, the remaining wires. So up in your ceiling, it should be a standard electrical box where either your original ceiling fan is hanging from, or a light fixture that you're replacing. And you can see there's several holes here. Hole, slots, big slot, hole. So they tried to make this as general as they could. And you'll just have to, this is a hole as well, by the way. You just poke out that black thing there. So you may have to adjust this, and it doesn't matter how you end up on your ceiling with this, because the fan can rotate in here. But you line this up so that you get a minimum of 2 holes. Be nice if you have a box that held 4, but majority of them only have 2 holes. And that's where you're going to put your screws through, and that's what's going to hold this to the ceiling. Now, if you have a wooden plank, then your screws would just go straight through into the wooden plank. But of course, there has to be a hole in that wooden plank or 2x4 where the wire is going to be able to come through and attach. All right, so we're going to put this on our ceiling. I zoomed in on that a little bit so you can see where we're going to be hanging. I'm going to have to remove that plate and attach the particular socket that I just showed you that's made it specially for this fan. So I'm gonna get up there and drop this, and then I'll show you the other one installed. By the way, I haven't made this comment yet. Please make sure your power is off before you do this, and test to make sure that there's no power going to any of the wires up there before you begin to mess with your wires in the ceiling. All right, so I got to tighten this better, but you can see we have our black wire and our white wire, because it's all you're going to need. So if you had a fan up here that had a light kit, and it's controlled by 2 separate switches, then you're going to have a black wire, a red wire, or blue, and your common, your white. So you're going to have to cap off that red wire or blue wire and shove it up in the box. And then for better safety measure, I also suggest that you switch out with a dummy switch where the fan switch would have been, so that there can never be any power go up to that box for the fan switch. What used to be the fan switch. because now you're only going to have black and white, and that's because the control box using Google or Alexis or the remote is automatically going to switch between the fan and the light, turning both of them on, one of them on, the other off, etc. And so you only need the one power source. So we're going to bring the fan up here and hook that little ball right up on this thing and finish wiring this up, show you how to wire it up. I'm sorry about the lack of light. Obviously the power's off to the room. All right, so we're going to hang the fan on the slot in this bracket that we've put up here. Now, on this fan bracket, I don't know if you can actually see that or not. Probably not yet. I'll bring it up over here. But on this bracket is a slot on the post that attached to the fan, and then there's a slot up here on this bracket attached to the ceiling. So you want to insert the ball so that that slot lines up with the slot on the bracket. And it'll just fit right down in there, and you'll know because it won't swivel, it won't turn. Bring that wire down. So you got your two wires here. You have your, let me turn this blade out of the way. You have your ground or neutral, your black, hot, your safety cable that we're going to attach as well. And then you have this white cable that is going to go to the control box. So your fan's hanging, and we're done. This is going to go up above. And by the way, I didn't mention this. I'll try to put a note in the video up earlier. You want to make sure that you have this on. The shaft slips through this before you attach the shaft to the fan. Otherwise, you're going to take that shaft back off because the hole on this is not big enough to go over the base of this shaft that goes to the fan. So make sure you attach this, slip it through the shaft through this, and it rests right on top of the fan like that before you attach the shaft to the fan. Okay. All right, so we're going to get the little... All right, so we're about to put the cap on. You can see that the hot and neutral are ran on the outside of that bracket. The way this control box is made, this little piece of wire goes on the back side of it. And so we're wanting to make sure it slips in there all the way. In order to do that, you have to run your hot and neutral on the outside of the bracket. You slip that in there. You can see the two screws underneath right here. And that is what, there's slots on the inside of that base I'm fixing to lift, and they'll fit up in the slot and go right on those screws, and that'll be it. We'll be done. Okay, so we're going to end this out by showing the speed of the fan. Now, I don't have it hooked up to Google yet, but I will do that. I'm using the remote control, and the fan goes really fast. So this is slow, one speed up, another one, another one, another one, still increasing. You can really feel the air. It's a powerful fan. That is incredibly fast. That's its fastest speed. And then the light, of course, this is going to run the video. light comes on, and it goes very bright. Just keep pushing. This thing gets bright. It's got about 10 levels, and this lit this room up really nice. Very easy to pair. When you flip the power switch onto the fan, you hold the pair button down for 3 seconds, and it pairs automatically. Okay, I love it. We're excited about it. Can't wait to pair it to Google. And a beautiful fan, and we're glad we got it.